Why millions of crabs march on the shoreline? Did you know that every year, millions of crabs emerge from the forest and head to the sea to reproduce, where they can be seen scattered across roads, rivers, rocks, and coastlines? But the question is, why do they do this? Come and join me, and let's find out together why so many crabs are marching on the shoreline. The first question is, when does the migration occur? The migration begins with the first rainfall of the rainy season, typically occurring in October or November, but sometimes as late as December or January. Red crabs across the island evacuate their homes simultaneously and start their journey toward the ocean to mate and reproduce. At this point, male crabs lead the migration, followed by female crabs joining them on their journey. Interestingly, the exact timing and pace of the migration depend on the lunar phase, because red crabs always reproduce before dawn and before low tide at the end of the month. It's impressive because they know exactly when to emerge from their burrows to follow this lunar calendar. However, since the crabs wait for the first rainfall to start their journey, they sometimes need to hurry. But why? Because as soon as the rain comes on the optimal date for breeding, they will quickly start moving. However, if the rain arrives earlier, they can still afford to pause, hang out, eat and drink while on their way to the coast. Moreover, if the rain is late and misses the breeding date, some crabs will remain in their burrows and instead shift their migration to the next month. Now let's move on to mating. Typically, the larger male crabs are the first to reach the sea, but their numbers are soon surpassed by the female crabs. After their arduous journey from the plains, the crabs dive into the sea to replenish their moisture. After this, the male crabs head to the lower areas of the island to dig burrows. Due to the large number of crabs, the burrows are very close to each other, and male crabs often fight over the ownership of a burrow and territory. Then, the female crabs join the male crabs near the burrows to reproduce. After mating, the male crabs dive back into the sea before they start their journey back to their origin. Now let's move on to spawning. The female crabs remain in their burrows, where they produce eggs within 3 days of mating and stay in the burrows for about 2 weeks while the eggs develop. In fact, each female crab can produce up to 100,000 eggs, which she carries in a brood pouch or pocket on her body. As the last quarter of the month approaches, the crabs carrying eggs emerge from their burrows and gather on the shoreline and in shaded areas near the water, where in some places you can see more than 100 crabs. Once high tide begins just before dawn, the crabs dive into the sea to release their eggs before returning to the forest. The spawning can occur over 5-6 consecutive nights during the migration period. Let's now turn to the hatching and return of the baby crabs. The red crab larvae hatch from the eggs as soon as they make contact with water, where countless larvae linger by the shoreline before being washed ashore by the waves. They grow through several larval stages over the next month until they develop into shrimp-like creatures called megalopi. The megalopi gather in pools near the shoreline for 1 or 2 days until they become fully formed baby crabs and then emerge from the water. Measuring about 5 millimeters in size, the little crabs begin their journey back to the land, which takes about 9 days to safely reach the plains. There they remain hidden under rocks and forest debris for the first 3 years of their lives. However, most of the larvae do not make it back to shore. Instead, they are eaten by fish, manta rays, and large sharks that visit Christmas Island to feast on this annual event. As a result, most of the year, very few or no baby crabs manage to reach the shore from the sea. But once or twice a decade, a large number survive, which is sufficient to sustain the large population of red crabs on the island. Lastly, let's watch the red crab migration. The red crab migration is the biggest tourist attraction on Christmas Island in Australia, drawing numerous nature lovers from around the world. The easiest places to watch the migration and spawning of the crabs are at Drum Site, Flying Fish Cove, Ethel Beach and Greta Beach on Christmas Island. To protect the red crabs, parts of the roads on the island are closed all day during the peak migration period, and advisories are also put in place. If you have a vehicle, you can park it and join the red crabs on their journey back and forth to the shoreline. In fact, bridges have been built specifically for them, where you can freely watch them crossing. Currently, Public notice boards and local radio provide updates about the crabs' movements during the migration. Please follow all signs and advice from the National Park staff. Now that you know why so many crabs march to the shoreline, what's your opinion about it? Comment down below.